Hey everyone and welcome back to a new episode of the New Byte News Roundup. Today is January 10th and we have some interesting stuff to talk about. So let's jump into it. First off, we have Wondersong being claimed to be a fake game because it was still under a review process on Steam. The review process, for example, stops the Steam trading cards to be allowed on there because Steam also wants to prohibit fake games which get hacked accounts to review the game for more positive than it actually is, so it gets benefits. And with Wondersong, apparently the actual users that were talking about Wondersong in their reviews were way too positive, apparently. Now, when this news broke, this was the only thing that we had. Now, a day later, or just in the cover of the day, Steam actually came forward and said, actually, this is a bug, and Wondersong got actually verified by now. So the whole story can be read in the description down below. The link is there, of course, but I found it interesting that yet again, how sort of Steam still wants to AI all the things, at least, and with algorithms rather, to sort of support their store. It has lots of flaws, and not only Wondersong was one game, it was actually more games for apparently half a year or so that they were still under a review process but couldn't go on, and there was no way to tell Steam like, hey, can you please manually verify us, for example. And then we have Division 2. The Ubisoft title is actually skipping Steam and is actually coming to the Epic Games Store, besides Uplay, of course, as well. This is just a small action side, but I found this still very interesting because more and more games are not coming out on Steam anymore, and some gamers are still a little bit mad at this because they only want to use like the one launcher and not so many launchers of games here. And after I recently just set up my gaming PC new, complete new Windows installation, I was thinking, yeah, actually, it's interesting that I have to install like, I think I'm at 7 game launchers now. So interesting, but still on the other side, it's actually very good that we have competition here, and with Epic, I think it's not the best choice. So yeah, kudos to Division 2. And talking about Division 2, there's actually now a mini comic series that is being published by Dark Horse, and you can find this here on the website, which is also linked in the video description down below. You can get print covers, I think, in the US, but you can also get a digital copy for only $4. So if you want a side adventure that's in the world of the Division, you can get it right here. Link is in the description down below, and I personally will get it myself as well, and probably try to do a video about it because I'm very interested about the Division lore. It's quite an interesting world, and I'm really excited to see what's coming next from it with March 15th, of course, with the Division 2. Then more CES hardware news. We have AMD taking a big swing at everyone. First off, they start with the tease of the third Ryzen gen, and that CPU there on top of the line is apparently working against the Intel's i9-19900K in terms of at least power efficiency. And that's quite interesting because from the top line, AMD was not that successful, at least with the core speeds, but of course AMD with Ryzen was the first one compared to Intel that actually brought like more than 4 cores, mainly to the mass market our tier. I personally have an AMD Ryzen 2700X, which is a 8-core 16-thread CPU, and one of the more recent ones that came out. And with 3rd generation planned to be launching this summer around the time, it's interesting to see how this one is actually turning up in terms of performance, especially since now the manufacturing technique is coming down from, I think, 14 or 10, no, I think from 10 nanometers to 7 nanometers. So that means less power consumption, more space to put things in, of course, hopefully also more power. But for that, we need, of course, the reviews, and these are still far, far away. Again, the launch will be happening in the second half, I think, of 2019. Then we also have, of course, the AMD graphics section and the AMD Radian? I think Radian 7 apparently is outperforming in NVIDIA RTX 2080. Now, NVIDIA RTX still has the ray tracing advantage, of course, and what all comes with that. But compared to that, this main card that we're talking about, Radeon 7, also uses the 7 nanometer process for manufacturing of the die, and that means, again, lower power consumption, probably more power in the same powers, of course, and as we see now, they're actually aiming now for the high end market of gaming graphics cards. So something that VEGA so far has not touched yet because it just wasn't possible. But with this new generation and the new manufacturing process, we can see also more competition in that high-level market, which not everyone is definitely interested in, but is something that we also need for the lower-level cards that come beneath it. So that actually is coming out in February 2019, so very, very soon. February 7th is the release date, and this big card is set at $700 which, if it fights against an RTX 2080, is still cheaper than the NVIDIA card, because I think the NVIDIA card is around $900, and the 2080 Ti is even at $1,200. So that is definitely an interesting comparison. Last but not least, a bit more news we still have. We have EVGA actually giving us a separate and discrete audio card solution, which I think is quite interesting for those audiophiles like myself a little bit. They're talking about lifelike gaming quality, and this is still coming in 2019. I could go over this, but I think it's not that interesting to everyone, so just a little note here. If you want to read the full article, of course, it's linked in the video description down below. And also for those that just work with lots of 4K footage with your cameras, for example, there's now finally the very first 1 terabyte SD card. And it's actually coming from Lexa. The price for it though is really steep. A 512 gigabyte SD card currently is selling at around $150, but this 1 terabyte SD card is actually coming on for $500, or one seller actually has it for $400, which is still quite a lot. I mean, it's not like $300, you know, double of 512. But anyway, that is just very interesting news. Who knows when this will also shrink down to the micro SD card level. Last but not least, for the big gaming news, I actually have GameStop, which is apparently going down in value. And since it's a public company, the people that actually buy stocks in it are just quite concerned. And apparently, there's the private equity firm Apollo Global Management and Sycamore Partners that are reportedly now bidding to acquire GameStop, which, okay, sounds interesting. GameStop, a company that I personally don't like that much because of their policies and how they try to make lots of money just from reselling games for higher prices while buying them in very cheaply. And yeah, apparently now the situation around GameStop is that it's getting worse and worse, and it could be sold I think again, because they were talking about how it was already sold once. But yeah, the numbers are really low. If you want to get into the details of this, which I skip for now, link is also in the video description down below. Just so you heard it, GameStop is actually in danger again of being sold. So there's that. And the quick news, we have the Nintendo Switch online gaming section expanding yet again. We have the Super Mario Bros. 3, Ninja Gaiden, Exile Pack, and many others, of course, that are joining in. And also 2 new games, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and Blaster Master. Then we have this very funny story by published by Devolver Digital. This is a game called Gris. Very fancy looking. I really like this game. And this image here apparently is too suggestive. For Facebook, at least. You know, they tried to do a video ad, and this is the thumbnail of this video, and apparently it's too sexy for Facebook, so it got rejected. Funny thing. And also we have another news. Destiny 2 right now is launching its 4th and last Forge, which is an endgame activity for the game. And to unlock this, we have to go through different levels of activities, and you have to actually solve a puzzle. Now, the last step, solving the puzzle, apparently was too hard, and after 24 hours, it was still not done. So Bungie went in and said, actually, okay, we tried it, but actually preventing everyone to getting to this end level content is not a good idea. So we will unlock the Forge, which is a way to get new weapons, as a Forge is, and keep the puzzle on the other side, and there will be a different reward for solving the puzzle once we got done with it. There's an interesting thread here by Rami Ismail, who's also playing Destiny a lot, and interesting thoughts about that here. I will link this also in the description down below, of course, but the main gist is Bungie's releasing the reward with or without puzzle clear soon. Experiment done. Cool to see them taking risks. Can't wait to see future iterations. Because yeah, it turned actually out to be more frustrating compared to something like a raid, for example, which everyone already has access to, and solving something that's already there and there's no limit to it is completely different, rather than if there's something to solve. to get and reward everyone desperately needs, you know. And last but not least, you have this very fancy looking Sega Master System, which was turned around by this artist here into a nice wood box with a small TV here and actually some more steampunky things all around it. I really like this design, it looks very cool, and if you want to take a closer look, there's a video featuring all of its stuff here. And I was already talking to a friend, I might do this also, but with a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So who knows what will come around with that, but certainly this is a very inspiring thing to just look at. Link for that and to everything else, of course, is in the video description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon again. My name is Houses here for the Newbot, and I hope you have a nice day. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and join our Discord under thenewbot.com/Discord. And I'll see you soon back again. Have a nice day, bye bye.